So, have you ever noticed how good workers start to decline? They it's they don't get lazy or anything, but they start slowing down and you know, they start having issues, and um, after a while, uh, they almost seem like they're not there. And that's because they realize that at some point, um, if they continue the way they are, they're gonna burn out. Like almost, I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but like over in like Asia, Japan specifically, um, have you ever heard of like workers like just collapsing and ended up having to go to into the hospital for weeks? That's kind of what I'm talking about. And what I and what you see as that happens, they'll start slowing down. They, they would fix problems. They would ask you if you needed help on something, or sometimes they would realize that they didn't accomplish like whatever work goal there was for that day, and they'll stay late. And they obviously learn a lot more than most people, and those are the people that you really want to keep. And but nowadays it's almost like nobody really cares, and they kind of go through this phased withdrawal. And what it is, it's like they'll sometimes stop help. They won't ask you if that you need any help anymore, and they won't volunteer for really anything. And after a while, sometimes they stop really. You know, they won't really even stay late for emergencies, like emergencies. Everybody's going crazy, and some of the diehards who like keep kind of going and kind of trying, re engaging, where it's like, okay, they were like that for a week, and then they're back to how they were or whatever, and then they re engage and they go again, and sometimes the diehards, as much as I know this is something that's referenced in like for military people who's gone through a lot, but there are some workers that actually get the 1,000 foot stare or 1,000 yard stare, whatever you want to call it. And I kind of want to point this out because I know I've been in that shoe, and I'm still in that shoe because I mean, I literally I re-engage a lot, and I don't know if it's kind of, a lot of people say it's upbringing, but it's not necessarily upbringing. It's it's upbringing plus maybe you had some circumstance when you were in school, and when you were younger, you had some kind of evolution when you were younger, where it's some kind of a personal um, mark, or this is it is what you are. And so I want to break this down, because what it is in the end, a lot of the people who are good workers, they realize at some point in their life that when you work that well, it's almost like a punishment. And because what happens is you learn because you care, and since you learn so much, you end up having the ability to know how to fix things, and then everybody looks to you to fix them, and um, it's how that's how it just keeps on going. And so what it is that like, and it's kind of a disconnect, because By the time they run out of steam and they run out of gas for doing this, uh, it's almost expected, and it's not like no managers don't understand it. They're like, um, they start you start getting the good workers start getting a little bit of scolding for it too, and they end up like, what's wrong? You got to work more. I mean, it's been expected for a year or two, and so what it ends up being is it doesn't fix itself, and so what it ends up being is good worker will end up dwindling away, and this doesn't get better until something changes at work where they're actually rewarded significantly, mostly with pay, to make their life outside of work better, or they end up having they end up leaving. So, and most of it, managers managers can't fix it most of the time. Um, we'd like to if we notice it, because it's like we expect it at that point. Um, and so good workers who end up burning themselves out, it's not that they're lazy, it's not that they don't care, it's that they've cared too much and they don't see the end to it. Like, why can't someone else, you know, when do I get help? And that's what ends up happening. And I just want to talk about that a little bit because honestly, to anybody who is a manager, try to look out for this. Like, the people who work really hard, and who um, in the past has have succeeded, and you got to look at them and say, okay, well, did we burn them out? And maybe some. I mean, small business owners. I mean, you should care about this more. Big corporations, they just look at numbers. There's nothing I can say about that. But if you're one of those coworkers that relied on this person because that he would help you, when that stops, maybe you should return the favor and help them, because honestly that's what half of it is at some point they realize that they're just going to end up getting most of the work, and they're asking in their to themselves, when am I going to get help? When is this person going to help me? Because most people can only do it so long. And that's something I just wanted to talk about. I figured I'd put it out there. And if you have any suggestions or think that it's actually worthwhile to know this, let me know. Have a good one.